welcome to episode 1 of the Paralives Legacy Challenge. Anybody who's played these life simulation games at length, like I have, has probably heard of the Legacy Challenge in one way or another. Pretty prevalent in the Sims franchise, but now with the release of Paralives in early access as of May 25th, which was super exciting, I wanted to give it a go in here as well. I have been notoriously bad about continuing through the generations as part of a legacy challenge. I've tried it over and over again in The Sims, and I feel like it's almost too easy to make a ton of money in a very short period of time, especially when playing on normal lifespan. So I need to come up with some challenges there to make things a little bit more difficult on myself. But I wanted to lift and shift that same kind of idea from The Sims to Paralives, where we start with a single sim, we start with zero money, we don't even have to buy a lot in Paralives to start. So we're going to kind of like hobo it for a little while and see what happens. But I'm kind of excited about it. The whole concept of how the paras progress with their skills and their career is so much more hands-on and need-based than what I feel like we're experiencing in The Sims. And even though I've been experiencing some bugs, glitches, lag, stuttering, that kind of thing, which is all part of the experience of early access with a non-finished game like this, the gameplay itself has been quite good. I absolutely love the paramaker and the build mode part of this. The whole concept of what they did in the build mode, with so many of the pieces being able to be resized, whether it's side to side, up and down, just the scale of everything, that mechanic was so genius on the developers' parts, because with that mechanic, you can apply that to pretty much anything, plus the color wheel. And by doing that applied to all of the different pieces, or many of the pieces, then you don't have to recreate swatch after swatch, item after item. It makes everything so customizable. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant on their part. And they can use that for so many things moving forward as they add additional content and additional things to build mode. So super cool. Can't emphasize enough how amazing that whole thing is. I think that's a big part of what we've been missing as Sims players. Another thing I want to mention is the art style of the game. Personally, I adore it. I think it's super cute, very stylized. A good mix, I feel, of cartoony and realism, which I would want to expect in a game. I am not a fan myself of the hyper-realistic art styles that you see in Inzoi or the alpha custom content for The Sims. It just never was my vibe, so I very much prefer this stylized art of the Paralives game. But with all of that, let's start a new game. I have spent a number of hours in the game so far, but I want to start completely fresh, walk through the different settings that I want to apply for this Legacy Challenge, because there's a lot of things that you can change both with your parafolk, as well as your storyteller that you can select as part of the game. That has a lot of different settings there in terms of like how they age, what that lifespan looks like. Are the other paras in town aging? How much money do you start with? What is your pregnancy duration? That kind of thing. So I want to get into it, walk through it, set up someone to start the Legacy Challenge with, and get on into it. So let's get started. Selecting a new game, I want to select the town starting map. I looked at simple empty terrain, and that would be great for any kind of like sandbox mode where you want to just build something, fiddle around with it. But I want to see how the town progresses with aging on, with building those relationships, progressing a career, building out your house, the neighborhood, that kind of thing. So I'm going to start in the town. And I am going to play the game's intro and tutorial just as we continue to work through getting accustomed with the game, I do like how that kind of pushes you to do things and get accustomed to the town itself. I'm still getting used to that, even though I think I've put probably 15 hours into this since Monday. I have a problem. Um, but let's let's start with the tutorial and the paramaker to create our character. Right, opening scene of Paralives. We start the paramaker and the tutorial on a train coming into town, which I thought was a really nice concept for this kind of this idea of, everyone comes from somewhere else to move someplace at some point in time. So I thought that was a pretty neat idea. And at this point in the game, we're just getting used to the controls. I did feel like it took a minute to get used to the controls, especially coming right out of The Sims into this game. There are a lot of similarities, but there are enough differences to where it took some getting used to. But then I will say, going from Paralives back into Sims, I did feel like the controls for Paralives were honestly a little bit better. Now you can probably bind different keys or different mouse clicks to do the same kind of things between the games. I just haven't messed with it myself, and I don't know if I'm going to unless I end up really and clicking with one way over another. Um, I do find that the right click on the mouse to change the orientation of the screen is nice. I have seen some complaints about how the train type of setting gives some people motion sickness, so there is that warning as well. Me panning around probably didn't help that at all. So for that, I do apologize. I am sorry. um, but let's create a new household. But if that's not anything that you wanted to do, you could select any of these households that are on the train to start with. And there are many of them. This is a family of 4. We have a couple of single people. There's this guy, Sebastian, with his son, an elderly couple, and just a whole bunch of different people. A lot of these paras are also in relationships, you'll come to find. And I have heard some things also about how, let's say, if you romance Sebastian, the kid doesn't move in with them if you have him move in, which I thought was a little strange. So I haven't explored that myself, so that's something to look for. But let's create a new household. And the other thing that is super neat that we haven't gotten in The Sims is the ability to change one's height, which can be done with this slider. So we can measure things a number of different ways also. So we can go all the way from 4.87 feet, which is quite small, all the way up to, what is this, like 6'4" almost. And that's being measured in feet. We can change a lot of settings in terms of how we measure things if over in, let's see here, in general settings, measurement units, you can pick metric, imperial, bananas, or fractions of Texas. Bananas in Texas are pretty silly. Being from the US, I will stick with imperial because it's the most easily accessible to me at this point. So I'll stick with that. I've got my camera settings the way I'm used to them at this point. I am going to turn the volume up a little bit so it's easier to hear in the recording. But that's where you can change your measurement units, is in general settings. So I don't want my pair to be quite that tall. I am going to randomize a little bit to see what comes up here. And I've been pretty impressed overall with the outfit combinations and the general way that people look after randomization. There's a lot of diversity in here, a lot of inclusion elements, which have been lacking from some other early release games. So there's some pretty neat things here to play with. I think the height thing is really nice, something that's been missing pretty badly from the Sims franchise. And I love how they figured out how to get the animations to mostly work with pairs of different heights. So that was really well done. The other thing that I've been just kind of gushing about with my partner is the different life stages or ages that are available from the very beginning. Because if you recall in The Sims, we didn't have infants, toddlers, or anything like that for a really long time. It took several updates to add those all to the game. And additionally, we have preteens in the game, which is something people have been asking for in The Sims for a really long time. And with seeing the different pairs around town, you can see that they look different in their height, in their general looks, and how they dress. So I thought that was a really nice way to differentiate the different ages in the game that we've also been missing as throughout the majority of the time of The Sims, at least Sims 4. So very cool stuff there. Gender, you can pick female, male, non-binary, or you can even add your own on here. And there's a couple of different voice selections. I tend to lean towards Silky myself just because that's easier on my ears to listen to throughout the game. I wouldn't be surprised if they added additional voices or ways to change the timbre of them to add more versatility to the game. Oh, I like her too. I kind of want to start with like whether I don't know how, honestly I don't know. I kind of was leaning teacher type of person to start with. I've done art and music at this point as well. A lot of the male pairs that are available for romancing are in the fitness career. So I don't really want to select that one because that tends to be something that is prevalent already in the game. Um, but I'm going to start with the personality of my para, and I think I'm going to go all the way up in creativity just because art and music are kind of easier ways to get started with this stuff. There's a piano in town. I believe there's an easel in town that can be accessed by your para without having to buy it for yourself, so you can practice those skills right away. Charisma, mind, and physique, I'm going to balance out. I think I'm going to add mind as my other one because you also have like science and technology as skills to learn as well. And I found a lot of crossover with things. I have a para in a different save that joined, her primary thing is art, but for something like graphic design, there's art, painting, programming, graphic design, all skills that needed to be learned. And I picked a bad career card that jumped her really way up high in her career level. And she is about to get fired because I haven't had enough time to build all those skills up yet. And she's not doing well. So, something to keep in mind. Let's see, vibe. Let's go. I haven't done serious yet. They're ambitious and goal oriented. They thrive the most when they are achieving great things. That feels pretty on brand for a legacy challenge, so let's pick that. Social perk. We can be good at being alone, good at making friends, good at taking care of others, good at romantic relationships, or good at cooperating. If we're going to go teacher, I think let's maybe go with oh gosh, well their social perk, love being with others and doing things together, good at taking care of others. They put others first and are always there to help, can relieve other pairs' needs and bad emotions. More success with flirting, with their good at romantic relationships. For a teacher, let's do good at cooperating. And for talent, should we do technology? Or should we do art? We could do jack of all trades. Let's do jack of all trades. I haven't done that one yet. For lifestyles, I'm just going to keep those all at normal for now. And then let's see. Let's edit this para. How tall are we? Basically like 5'8" if we're at 5.67. Because that 0.67 is a fraction of feet, not the total number of inches. So at 2/3 of a foot, that's about 8 inches. So that sounds good to me. I'm actually even liking this hairstyle and the glasses for her. I think that's pretty cute. Um, Honestly, I don't know if there's really much that I would change about her at this point. I think she's actually pretty adorable. Got a little bit of an underbite, which I can relate to. I had one pretty badly as a kid. Her whole vibe's pretty cute and low key. Let's maybe give her some freckles, perhaps. Kind of on the petite side, which I think suits her. Um, so the face, like there are just an insane number of sliders to pick from on this. It's honestly a little overwhelming. It took some getting used to on this. Let's say, for example, we wanted to adjust her chin here. Like, look at that. We can go like all sorts of crazy on that. Go far back, far forward, right in the middle. We can move the mouth forward or back. We can dig into further detail with the mouth. Like her lip there was a little tucked under. We can pull it forward there to better align. Her nose is pretty cute. Everything kind of vibes with her. Let's take a look at outfits, perhaps. And I think we'll just, I don't mind the hoodie. I don't love the color. So let's see what other presets we have. We've got green, pink. This navy looks pretty good. I kind of like that, like terracotta color too. Could do that. And then maybe, I like the ripped jeans that are on here. I think that's pretty cute. Like these with those boots. It's fun, casual, and you can add many more outfits on here. So I'm going to add some outfits, get her all dressed up and ready to go, and then we'll pick back up when we get to the storyteller settings, because I think that's going to be pretty important for how we set up the Legacy Challenge. So I will see you in just a second. All right, so we're back with our starter para, Alice Rose. Gave her a few different outfits for casual wear. So we've got the hoodie with the ripped jeans. Then we've got this little jumper with a t-shirt underneath and some matching like Converse Keds type of sneakers. And then just this kind of like comfy, casual, everyday wear type of thing with the flannel shirt and the matching purple skinny jeans, which I thought was really cute. For formal wear, have her in this little paisley dress with the tied back hair, which I think is a super cute hairstyle. I did give her some freckles on her shoulders. I thought that kind of fit her vibe. And then I just gave her the one outfit for now. For exercise wear, this is pretty much the default thing that I put her in, so I kept that alone. And then this little crop top with some sweats and socks for her sleepwear with her hair pulled back up again. So a few outfits there. You can continue to add outfits. I just didn't want to do that at this point. Kind of figuring with the Legacy Challenge starting with basically nothing but the clothes on your back, you're probably not going to have a lot of clothes on your back because we don't have anything. So not a whole lot of outfits there, not a whole lot of accessories. I think I put her with one pair of earrings on this outfit here. Yeah, just some little hoop guys. With her glasses and her hair pulled back, just very practical type of stuff. And then, of course, her personality being high in creativity, next mind, and then physique and charisma with 1 bar each, with a serious vibe, but she's good at cooperating. Jack of all trades for talent, so we'll try to work on building as many skills as we can. If she's going to be a teacher, I think that's probably a good thing. And then kept her lifestyle standard with not a vegetarian, normal sleeping habits, and normal cleaning skills. I've not played with any of these vibes, social perks, or talents yet, so we'll see how that goes. And with that, let's continue on. So we pick back up in the train with our person Roberto as our train station person. So we have an emotion of inspired, so we can pick a reaction, and they want us to select eat a snack. Easy enough. So we'll do that. And then we're going to select our pairs as a group and have them move over to the next train car together. So now we're in this train car and they're having a conversation. So we have to wait for their together bar to fill up, and then we have a conversation topic we can select. So we can ask if help is needed, which is stemming from our good at cooperating social trait, comment on train maintenance schedule, or request detailed train itinerary, which I think I'm going to do that as being a serious person. And this is take care of your pair's needs or else they might get upset. So we start with things like food, sleep, using the bathroom, and then showering or hygiene. So those are starting ones, and you may get different ones depending on the different traits that you've given your pairs as well. So we're currently at level 2 inspired because we're enjoying the train ride and we requested detailed train itinerary. But we are getting hungry, so they want us to click on the food to eat it. So we've got this pretty good looking sandwich that we're going to select on to eat. So we're going to go snag that, get some food in our bellies, which sounds like a really good idea. I need to make some lunch myself. And then in front of us here, we got 3 different storytellers. This is Ricardo. He is a more challenging storyteller, so I don't think we're going to go with him. This is Stella, the puppy dog, and that's a less challenging gameplay experience. And then Maxence is more balanced, so I'm going to pick her, but we're also going to customize it because there's some things that start off as default that I don't necessarily want right now. So I do want household pairs to age, so that's already checked. Great. The next one is non-household pairs age. I want us all to age up at the same rate together to see what that looks like. I'd like to see if there is any natural story progression in the game. I haven't really played enough to see that happen. I haven't had anybody age up yet, so I'm going to experience that here. Duration of life stages, I am going to keep as normal. I did switch to long in a different save for a little bit, and the young adult life stage ends up being 30 something days in game, which I felt was kind of a lot. I do want to see some progression, but I also want to be able to experience things, so I think short would be too short, so we're going to stick with normal for now. Trimester and labor duration, I'm going to leave as the default, as well as chance to get pregnant when attempting, chance to have twins, chance to have triplets. All that I'm going to keep as default. Job performance threshold for strikes. The way I understand that is you have points going into your workday depending on the skills that you have towards your current career level and the mood that you're in. So if you're going into work with a terrible mood and you don't have your skills at a high enough level to be performing that job, your performance is going to be really low. And if it stays in that low area long enough, you're going to get a strike at work. And if you get 3 strikes, you're going to get fired. So it's got really real consequences that can happen in a pretty quick period of time for your career, which I really like. I feel like there's too much leniency in The Sims when it comes to poor performance. That bar goes down pretty slowly, in my opinion. So I like this. My one pair that I was talking about in the graphic design thing, she's already got 2 strikes, and I'm a little scared to get back into that one because I think she's going to get fired. I need to see what that looks like. So I don't know if we'll end up getting to that in this game. I'm sure we will at some point, but there's that. Automatically eat at work, automatically use toilet at work. I think those make a lot of sense, so I'm going to leave those checked. But starting funds, I'm going to set to 0. I haven't done that. We'll see how that works. And I'm going to select storyteller. And this is going to shuttle us off into the town. We're going to pick another conversation topic, and he says, it seems like there's an issue with the train. Is anyone here a mechanic? I can say yes and lie, no, or offer assistance as a jack of all trades. So I'm going to pick that one. I don't think it actually does anything, so kind of an odd thing to have there. I think that's just kind of like, we're having trouble with the train, we need to stop here, and this is where we end up. So that's that. But here's a nice little panoramic sequence of going into the town. It is open world. They got away from the loading screens that we've been experiencing in Sims 4 by having a few lots load as you're getting to them, and you could have like 3 or 4 lots loaded at a time. And if you haven't visited in a while, it will deload that lot so you can load new ones and not take up so much usage from your computer, which I thought was a really good concept. And there are a lot of lots in the game as of right now. There are a lot of residential lots, both occupied and not occupied, that are available for purchase. Um, you can buy an existing house. There's like these apartment guys. This one's in town, which is really cool. There's ones that are put together. So I've lived here, which is cute. It's tight, cute, a lot of stairs. But it is on the square here, which I think is really convenient. I've lived here, which is pretty nice. It is like right on the road. So it is nice to see that you can build right up to the lot line instead of having to give any kind of like easement essentially on there. I do think that feels more cohesive and put together. I do enjoy that very much. And some of these lots are really, really large. Like, this one's really large. I can't afford it because I had started myself with zero money. But this one's massive at almost 7,000 square feet. This one's pretty big at 3,800 square feet. There's another one over here next to the community center that is almost 4,000 square feet. It's very long. So that one's interesting. I like this one because there's like a beach behind it that you can access down here. That's almost 1,500 square feet. So there are some pretty decent sized lots here that could give definite Legacy Challenge vibes. But I don't think I'm going to go with the traditional Legacy Challenge thing where you get a lot and just stay there forever. I kind of want to move from lot to lot as you might through natural progression of, okay, so now I can afford this tiny little lot and start there. And then as you gain more wealth and more generations, you're going to have, you know, your children peel off and build their own homes, make their own life. So I think I want to just kind of move from lot to lot as it makes sense, as well as proximity to workplace, because you are traveling from your home to your workplace throughout the gameplay, which can be time consuming. There are bus stops which alleviate some of that travel time, but there is a cost of 3 paradigms, the paradigms being the currency in the game, to move from bus stop to bus stop. So it is nice to live nearby your workplace, as is the case in real life if you're having to commute. So with that, yeah. But I don't know how, I got to figure out how to, I don't want to purchase a house. So how do I do that? Oh, I can play without a lot. Okay, cool. Well, that was easy. So here's Alice. Let things load up for a second here. And let's see, we've got the newspaper. Mayor Gloomberg welcomes the Rose household and shares a list of activities to do around town. I'm going to accept that list. So we have a new goal now of discover the town. And there's a few other activities listed in the newspaper. The Astronomy Club will observe a rare space phenomena. Join them tonight at the Mountaintop Park. And please stop with the graffiti. So the Astronomy Club might be nice to meet a few more parafolk around town. They also are constantly wandering around, which is nice. It makes it easy to meet people. Let's see, she's just going to read the newspaper for now. Oh, she's getting one out of the thing. That's cool. I didn't even know you could interact with that. You can read the newspaper or vandalize it. That is something that I have noticed, is there is quite a lot of vandalizing around town The trash bins, the vending machines, those will constantly be in some sort of state of disrepair. I don't know who was vandaling these things, but it is a rampant problem. So maybe they'll add police at some point to this game so they can deal with the vandals. I'm also going to check the daily request board and see what is being asked for there, because that's also a great way to meet new paras and make friends. So we're just going to go up the stairs, check this out, and see what they have to offer. Let's see. Oh, design a website. Get to level 3 in programming. Design a website on the computer. My startup needs a new website. Could you code it for me? And exercise for 10 hours at the gym to test the gym and tell them if it's worth a visit. I can accept both of those. I genuinely don't know if there's a time limit on those things. I don't see one on the goals page, so they don't list any kind of time frame that those needed to be completed in. So I'm just going to assume that there isn't a time frame. So that gives me some time to get to level 3 in programming. Building up skills initially doesn't take too long from what I can tell, but there's definitely a decline in the time it takes the further along you get with it. Let's go up here. Oh, we've got some mushrooms we can collect, so that would be good for some money. We've got some here too. So let's snag those. We've got Leon, who is very cute, I must say. He could be a decent romance candidate. And then just for reference, we have 21 days left of the young adult life stage in normal. I think I said before that there was 30 something days in long, but I think that's incorrect. I think it's closer to 80 or 90 days, which is a lot. There's Jalen. We can talk to him. The other thing that we can do is just, oh my gosh, cutting through everything. I can select everybody and say talk with, and then we'll start a group conversation. Oh, Jalen's off to work though, so that didn't work. So kidding. If they're going off to work, it's not going to work. So let's cancel you. Can I talk to you then? Maybe I can talk to the two of them. Okay, so we'll have this conversation, and our together bar is rising, and we can pick a conversation topic. Oh, there was buried something there. We can introduce yourself in a formal manner due to our serious nature, or introduce yourself in a pumped up manner with good at cooperating. Let's do pumped up. That was received okay, I think. Let's see, and she's feeling a sad emotion because oh no, because the household money balance is very low. Oh, that's new. I kind of like that. So with that, we can watch TV for 2 hours. I'll pick it. We don't have a TV, babe, so that's going to be tough. Oh, here we go. We can become acquaintances with someone new, buy a computer and level up programming skill, make 200 paradigms, become friends with Roberto Roberts, or flirt with Roberto Robert. He was the train conductor guy, I think. Let's do make 200 paradigms because money is going, we're going to need it. Because we need money to eat. We need money to build, obviously. Oh, look at that. You can smell and admire the flowers. That is so cute. Okay, new conversation topic. We can ask if single. Oh, Leon's single. That is Leon, right? Yeah. And Laurel is single. So in other saves, Leon was in a relationship. So I don't know if it's like randomized every time you start a new save. So that's interesting. Okay. Well, we can certainly get to know him better. Okay, conversation bar is almost full. There we go. We can joke about astral bodies, ask about job, or ask to be left alone. Let's ask about job. He's a trainer She's unemployed. Okay, and she's unhappy. I think we're done yapping. So let's maybe find some more things that we can collect and sell. Looks like here's some fly agaric mushrooms over here. Let's grab those. The other thing that is nice is that you can select to jog or run to a location to build up your fitness skill, which could be helpful as well. Let's see. For Discover the Town, we need to collect 5 gems, mushrooms, or artifacts, make a donation to the museum, make a donation to the community center, which has very strong Stardew Valley vibes. I don't hate that. And buy something at a shop, which there are a number of shops. I like how the shops function. But I want to continue to collect some things and try to make some cash monies. There's usually some things down here too that can be gathered. So let's see what we've got. Yeah, we've got these oyster mushrooms. Is that it for now? Nope, there's something back here. What are you? Malachite. Let's collect you as well. So I'm just going to speed you up a hair to get you down to this general area. All right, so we'll collect those. And then I can sell them or donate them. I do know at some point there is some money that is given to donate, or money given once you donate a few things. So we can take a look at that. I did report this as a general comment of it seems like some garage doors were layered incorrectly on the hospital. But let's head over to this area here because this is where the community center and the donation area is. So let's collect those parrot wax cap mushrooms. There's a lot of mushrooms on here. I haven't eaten any yet. I'm kind of curious of what it does, like what the reaction is, but I also don't want my parrot to just perish. We're just going to ignore the sidewalks and go, oh my gosh, that's a tight squeeze. Okay, way to go. There's a little cemetery here, which is a nice touch. Oh, there's some more mushrooms there too. This is a bit ominous with these crows here. If looks could kill, that I need to know more about that particular bit of lore. That seems entertaining. Let's see if we can make a donation. We should be able to. We've got some things in our inventory. Inventory can be checked with this box here. So we've got some different mushrooms and this malachite. So we've got some things that we can donate. And it looks like most of this stuff we can. Donate, 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 donate. And oh, that gives us 250 paradigms, which should also, yeah, that fulfilled a want that we had to make 200 paradigms. So that's pretty significant. I don't hate that. Let's visit the library. It's going to load the lot so we can get into it. And where is she going? Oh, it says to visit, but it's got to load the lot. So I don't know why she's running off. In the meantime, let's collect these. It does stutter and lag quite a bit when I'm trying to load the lot. But once it loads, it evens back out. It definitely has fits and starts where it'll stutter and where it won't. I did see on the commentator from the developers that they are working on improving that as well as the load time. So I'm going to drop the walls down to the visibility. I can see the back walls, but then see through them. And there are computers here that I can use, which is very helpful considering I need to work on my programming skill for that website design. So I can practice programming here in the library. So that is nice. Because that'll also give me, I believe, friend points and money. It doesn't really tell me right now what I get out of it, but that's, oh wait, hang on. Where did I see it? Reward is 100 paradigms and a friend. So Not too shabby. It's a little bit of work. Other thing I've noticed, this is Julia. In every save I've started, she looks pregnant, but I can't tell that she's ever had a baby. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. If there's just not any kind of progression happening. It seems like there should be though. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. There's Laurel that we met earlier. And we're working on our programming skill. And the neat thing here is that while working on programming, she's also building knowledge in technology, which I think is really neat that we're working on two things at the same time. Like at the easel, you can build painting and art skill at the same time. But if you have bad moods, if you have things detracting from your overall base learning level, you won't build that skill anymore. So you can continue to work on it, but you won't build the actual skill as a stat. So kind of important to keep your pairs happy so you're not building skills. All right, let's work on that for a little while. Get that programming level up. We're at level 2. You'll see as we speed up, it does actually progress pretty quickly. And since she's still happy, we're building both technology and programming skills. So that's pretty nice. All right, now we're at level 3 already. Oh, she's in the zone from her serious vibe. So that's pretty nifty. We can buy a computer and level up programming skill, become friends, flirt. Let's pick buy a computer and level up programming skill. We should probably also maybe find a job, seeing how that's probably the primary way to make money. So I'm going to cancel programming and try to find a job. Let's see what we have in the education career. Let's see, education. We can be a physical education teacher. We can also do like a service thing. We can start as like a store clerk or a hairdresser, receptionist. The problem is with education stuff, if we want to increase in rank, we need work experience in education. And the only way to start getting experience is as a phys ed teacher. So let's start there. So it's Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. Which will start tomorrow. Today's Monday. We'll start Tuesday, which is tomorrow. And let's take a look at our career panel and see what we need for performance. So our base is 50. We get a bonus for being serious. We get a bonus for coworkers, thanks to the social perk of being good at cooperating. And we have additional bonuses for relevant skill or knowledge levels and current emotions. So we need exercise level 1 and fitness level 1 to be at rank 1, which is as low as it gets. So I'm going to assume in order to progress as a physical education teacher, I'm going to work on exercise and fitness, which is kind of unfortunate because I put physique as just like based here in her stats. So we're probably going to want to make our way to the gym at some point to work on those. What do I want to do? While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and make that website since we're at programming level 3, which is what we needed. Go ahead and get that knocked out because that gives me another 100 paradigms. And then maybe we can jog our way over to the gym, maybe meet some people, work out a little bit. And if my mood stays good, that jogging will get me fitness and exercise skill, which is a win-win. So I'm going to knock out this website and then make my way over to the gym. Alice completed the website design, and now we need to go talk to Jalen to complete that. So, oh, this is so handy. Check this out. So, since we need to talk to someone to complete that goal, it has find parafolk, which is super nice. So it tells you right where they are. You don't have to go like hunting all over the dang place to get to them. And it looks like he's in the hairdresser. So we're going to jog there, get some exercise skill, and go talk to Jalen. let's make sure he's still there. That looks to be the case. So I think I'm going to have to load that lot to talk to him, which is going to take a minute. All right, that wasn't too awful. I like this little salon kind of just like smushed in between these buildings here. And it is so nice having buildings that are not rectangles. There's so much more creativity that can go into these, and a lot more forgiveness, it seems like, about how things can be placed and not cause pathing issues with your paras. So I very much enjoy that. All right, are you going to go talk to him? Where did you go? All right, let's talk to Jalen, complete that goal, which gives us a little bit more money. Oh, is she floating? She is floating. I have noticed that as a bug quite a bit, is paras and things floating. I don't know if it's like a platform functionality thing, but it's a bit alarming. All right, speed this up so we can tell him, hey, I did the thing you asked me to do. Complete request, design a website. Select target. All right, now Jalen's our buddy. Got some pretty cool looking people in here though. Who's this? Sophia? Let's talk to her. She looks cool. All of these paras around town are so like genuinely interesting to look at. And unlike Sims townies, now I don't know how that's going to work with spawning in any new NPCs or what that frequency looks like. I haven't noticed it myself, but they look more put together, floating aside. But they look like there's been thought put behind what they're wearing, what they're doing. They actually travel to work, and if they're on their way to work, you can't converse with them. It just feels thoughtful. I'm gonna just introduce myself, just like regular. Happy. Oh, my thing is full though. I want to buy a computer and level up programming skill, watch TV for 2 hours, and eat a snack. How am I going to do this? Because I do not have enough money. I've got things I could sell though. Can I sell you? That was for 20, 60, and 20. Okay, I've got 650 paradigms, which isn't the worst. I can joke about nuclear energy, discuss programming skills, or brag about fulfilling one. Let's joke about nuclear energy. Oh, they actually kind of like that quite a bit. So that was fun. All right, for 650 paradigms, is there any lot that I can buy? There's this little guy that's 644. That would leave me with 6 paradigms left. Not a lot. I've got a health center nearby and the Barnes household next door there. Where else is a possibility? For sale, for sale, for sale. That one, definitely not. I know there's this guy. Oh, that's 1100. I don't have enough for that. I thought there was like a really weird tiny lot somewhere like in town. Where is that? That one's 3,400. That won't do. My other option would be just to suck it up for a while and not buy a lot. I know there was like a weird tiny triangle lot. Where is that thing? I thought it was over by the station here. No? I could have sworn. Am I losing it? I must be. I could have sworn there was like a tiny little lot and not that one. Alright, maybe I abandon this thought for now and come back to it because I kind of wanted something weird and funky that really didn't make a lot of sense. And I just don't see it anywhere. There's a lot that James Turner picked for his one. I don't think it's this one. It's not. It's not this one. This is the one that Kayla built on. Little Simsy. It's not that one. I thought it was like right down here by the train station. Okay, because that came out. Okay, where does this go exactly? Does it go underneath all of this? I'm so confused. All right, I'll have to revisit that and look for that some other time. I'm a little frustrated now. So for right now, the best we could do in terms of buying a lot is this guy for $644. And I just don't think I'm prepared right now for that. But then again, maybe something is better than nothing. I don't know. Got some things to figure out because we need to eat, we need to sleep. But if I buy that lot, I wouldn't even have anything left to do that, which would not be good. So sometimes there is like little merchant things that come to the town center here. At least, what is this one called? This is the Castle Plaza. Very fancy. But today is not that day, so I'm gonna have to figure something else. I can vandalize. I don't think that gets me food. I can purchase a snack here. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna stop talking to you and purchase a snack. And then I may have to end up crashing on a bench. I can sit. Can I not sleep? Can I not sleep outside? Ooh. That could be a problem. Where am I supposed to sleep if I don't have a bed? Okay, that didn't work. Let's try again. Is there 2108? I don't think anything's actually open anymore. Where did that vending machine go? Come here. All right, go here. And purchase a snack. All right, eat a snack we have as a want. I'm hoping we can figure this out. I'm a little scared. All right, got our snack for 5 paradigms. Pricey for a vending machine snack. We can become friends with Sofia Hernandez or flirt with Sofia Hernandez. Well, let's satisfy these other ones first because I'd have to delete something to replace it. And every time we sleep, the wants refresh. Can I just like... Can I sleep on just the ground? Okay, so we satisfied that. What about down at the beach? There's these lounge chairs. I can sleep there. Let's try that. Okay, just come down here. Come down here. Alice, come here, please. Where are you? Okay, here she comes. All right, sleep here. Okay. Every day when your household is asleep, your storyteller lets you pick a story card. It wants us to pick life goals. I can pick Breadwinner, reach job rank 5, earn a daily salary of 500 paradigms. New family, with objectives to try for baby, give birth, and buy a crib for the baby. Or a big house. Own a house worth 40,000 paradigms and own 1,000 paradigms worth of decorative items. Well, in order to do new family or big house, I feel like I need to be breadwinner. So let's do that for now because those other ones will eventually show up to be able to select those. Although my sleeping is getting pretty decent for sleeping on a lounge chair at the beach. So that's not terrible. And bonus points. Oh no, off to work. Okay. I was going to go to the gym and use the bathroom, but that's not happening. But we can use the bathroom and eat at school. So now that she's at work, I do feel like this is a good stopping point. So I'm going to stop this first episode here. She's going to finish her first day of work, and we're just going to see what we can do to progress through the career, build a house, start a family, all that stuff. But this feels like a rougher start to a legacy challenge than what I've experienced in The Sims, and I am here for it. This is already so much fun. It's so much more challenging. So very, very excited to see where this takes us. But if you're watching this, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to follow. I'm trying to find a schedule that makes sense to create more videos. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in Paralives, and I kind of want to see this legacy throughout the additional updates. So I'm going to play this for as long and as much as I can within the confines of, life with a family and work and stuff like that. I'm really curious to see where this takes us. There seems to be like a lot of opportunity for different careers, building relationships. I'd like to understand more about the relationships and friendship stuff. There's still a lot to learn here, so I hope you take this journey with me. And with that, I will see you next time. Bye.